control. Who is it or what is it that they've got to do here to push it to that map 5?
I mean, I feel like, of course, with the very few times that you have in your hands, you can try to strategize as best as you can. But this map in particular, I didn't feel like the side of Newgen was lost. Like in comparison to the S&D and Tunisia, where they were just, let's just walk and see what happens. Yesterday, when they were playing that game 250, 249, I felt like they were rotating, they were properly using the operators, they were properly making sure that Viper was getting inside of their faces, using the Tempest to break through a lot of really, really tight spots. So I feel like if they manage to secure that type of scenarios against OUG, there's still hope for them in here.
Certainly is. Marvel gets off to a start where he dies straight away to, well, himself essentially. It's going to be the pinstripe feeds, the back and forths that are traditional here in P1. P2 will be Temple side, so squads are going to be instantly thinking of that and trying to hold or maybe hit a flank as we see Tectonic get on his bike. And he's actually going to find his way in through the back and does get in. Great work from him early, very heads up. Frando's going to push himself into Chicken Coop and give his players a bit more of a protection buffer, but it's not going to do much for long because the rest of the team are here and OUG will take hold.
Good amount of kills on both sides, so I'll give it a both. Round of applause for Newgen to at least not suffer what happened last time around, which, like I mentioned, is good. I was talking about the fact that OG is fairly good when it comes down to Hardpoint Apocalypse, but what we saw yesterday from Newgen, it also showed a lot of good promise from them. So as we now begin to move on to the next hill, the first one to get there could be the side of Newgen. Actually, no. Actually, Jess is going to be executed, and the first inside will be Cartels, who try to push for more. He gets taken down, but his allies are going to be getting the initial hold.
Certainly shall. Jez trying to play close with the VMP. He's contested. The smoke just making it difficult to clear out your opponents, but up and over the top is the answer for some of this OUG roster. Solo gets himself in, and well, it's messy, and he doesn't actually find the kill in the end. It's Warden who does enough. Cartels with the instant trade. Tectonic looks to turn and face, but Jez with the Sparrow will clear him off and push forward. And I like that decision because it means you've just got players running into the end of your SMG. 4 in a row there for the young man. Tectonic manages to do enough to stop him, but, well, he says, I'm not to be outdone, finds to be by himself.
All right, the back and forth fight, I like it, love to see it. We were expecting something similar to what we saw yesterday. So far, we're getting it. 39 to 45 points. Slight advantage going in favor of the third Chinese team, who's trying to remain alive. Of course, we have already seen how Wolves unfortunately dropped to the loser bracket. Q9, in case you have been missing it, has been doing not so bad themselves, but in here, OG is still trying to keep the region afloat. They have been so dominant in the past, and they are trying to continue to assert that control over the rest of the world. As we proceed onto the last 40 seconds of this hill, OG has a solid control.
I certainly do, or at least did. 3 kills. The Newgen Ninjas will give them space on the map. Marvel's Death Machine will help them punch a hole in what was supposed to be a defensive hole. Great adjustment to read the player up high. Tectonic is best to line the point. Won't do much. Equalizer now from Warden, looking to chain, but does not find purchase. Cartels with 2, Solo with his own double, and you break straight back in for OUG.
That's right. 83 points now for OUG. And pretty much everybody with the same amount of kills on the side of OUG, as per usual, just outslaying the opponents inside of the hill. It seems like it's going to be Tectonic. That OVJ role is going to be in charge of an fan favorite for the longest time, which is Tectonic. He's so charismatic, and well, in here he was trying to hold the control. Unfortunately enough, it was rather taken away very abruptly by the hands of Newgen. Now the usage of Fran's War Machine will complicate it even further. Luckily enough, there was the help of the side of OUG to take care of it, but not only the War Machine, now the Sparrow, and that's a Quadra, just exploding them all up. Try to go for tech. Still, does not matter if you die as long as your teammate is still alive inside of the hill. If for at least 20 seconds, that was the case for Newgen.
Well, this has been a better passage for Newgen. Tectonic will do his best to stop that as he finds 3 in the feed and 4 in a row. Raf then answers in. Tectonic's still going. Someone stop this man. He's having himself a performance. 22 kills to lead the lobby alongside Jez. And to be fair, it does feel like a war between those two players right now. For Jez, it's a case of not wanting his tournament to be over. For Tectonic, it's wanting to sweep aside this problem in front of him. But there is going to be a solid lead here for OUG. As we look to our second rotation, they've been the better side in the early stages. There is resistance from Newgen Ninjas, but you feel like you're looking to see a little bit more out of players like Viper, who currently only has 10. Fran also on 10. Warden on 11. They've got to step those numbers up if they're going to stay alive.
That's right. They are making sure that they're not losing complete control, but at the same time, they need to start regaining that confidence needed to actually close that gap. Tempest in the hands of Viper will take one, goes for two, but immediately executed by Cartels, and that's the type of issues that are having a huge impact against Newgen. The value off of the operators has just not been as great as they would have liked to. Of course, Marvel with the Dead Machine has done quite a job with it, but at the same time, it's just not been enough. It's not been enough. They're constantly trying to keep up with OUG, and if it continues to be that way, and if it happens to snowball again in favor of OUG, that could be the end of the road for Newgen.
Certainly could. Viper tucks himself inside the cave, takes his time. It looks like it's going to be a temple hit with the Death Machine for OUG. Very clear what they want there. Looking for the spawns at the backside of P2. There's a Sparrow in action as well for Kings. He's looking to swat away anyone's playing in through the front and has the angle actually over the top onto the point. Unfortunately, doesn't connect with anything, and, well, Marvel doesn't get what he wants out of his Death Machine. Raf's going to try and bring his claw to the party, and it's just swatting down these players in front, cutting them down as they sprint forward. You got to look in through the gap here towards the cave. Can you do enough? You can just bounce it off the wall, turn this into a shredder. And for OUG, you continue to hold over a 50-point lead incoming, and we're marching ever closer to that 200-point marker, and OUG do not seem to be threatened by this Newgen Ninjas roster at all.
That's right, the closest that Newgen Ninjas tried to get, the further away OUG seems to be getting, and in here is starting to sting as if they were just bitten by something that cannot just let go. They are constantly ostigating the opponents, making sure that they don't feel comfortable, that they don't know what to do to a certain extent. It's been really well executed so far for the side of OUG, and this advantage could go even deeper if they continue to play this way. You can see Kings in here barely getting inside, so goes back in, turns around. There's a double for Warden. Warden trying to get through. There's gonna be tag. No, a triple, a quadra now using that equalizer, immediately pushing for more, make it a fifth, going for more. Pain allows the team to actually move forward, and with the help of the War Machine, that certainly can bring in a few super good seconds that need, but it only lasts for a few seconds.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's tough to watch because the equalizer drove your line forward so much, pushed OUG back so far. You're thinking, okay, well, my boys can at least get 10-15 seconds out of this, and once I spawn back in, I should be able to join the party. You spawn in, you see that you've lost it instantly. Cartels will find the kill with the Tempest. Hunter Killer as well going to be sent in the direction of Warden. He doesn't have to deal with it as it hits the house that he's stood in, but you don't survive for very long either way. OUG stroll over that 200-point mark. The next hill's going to pop. There's actually a flip out on the spawns. So Newgen Ninjas have themselves a pinch set up. Can OUG read this? Well, the answer is no. Solo returns 2 kills by himself. Raf does enough. And to be honest, that should have been an opportunity for Newgen to wipe you from the board, but Solo's gone huge inside and has the Death Machine as a reward to continue to turn up the pain on the Indian roster.
Oh my goodness, pray and pray, baby. Look at all them shots in here now. On top of it, well, there was the usage of the Sparrow by Kings. There's the War Machine by Tag, the Pred Missile by Solo, the pain unfolding into the hearts of Newgen, who continue to fall further and further behind. Of course, there's Vipers, there's the Tempest, there's the break, but there's only 20 seconds left, and the disadvantage was of nearly 100 points. They're finally trying to once again regain some sort of control, but can they do it though? They need it. They have to be flawless in order to survive, to manage to take us to Game 5.
Certainly got to throw everything at this. Your last stand in this tournament. Will OUG deliver the killing blow? Well, Well, gunfights like that from Warden will do a good job of going towards, but then it's all gold in the feed, and OUG have so much room now. You won't get that body into P1. But the fact that you've been closing it out here just means Newgen have to constantly scramble. There isn't a strategy to this. It is put your body on the line and hope for the very best. Death Machine finds 1. That's 2 from Marvel. Do you read the players pushing out of Temple side? You find 3 and then 4, but we'll cut down after that. Warden tries to dive in now. You've got 30 seconds left on this, but it's sticking around here for as long as possible and then bouncing up for P2, which is the side OUG currently have control of.
And ladies and gentlemen, only 14 seconds are needed for the side of OUG. Newgen have to be perfect. Equalizer in the hands of Warden. Warden pushing forward. Gonna take 1. Gonna go for 2. Pushing for more. Not gonna be possible. Gets taken down. His allies are still alive. 10 seconds left in this heal. That's not gonna be enough time for OUG. And they're not even close to it. They're beginning to rotate the next area, and the one in charge to try to prevent it is gonna be Marvel. Marvel trying to do his thing. Not gonna be possible. Cartels with the usage of the Tempest is gonna be more than enough. The point about to start turns around, tries to defend himself. He cannot do it. Now the War Machine is gonna be in the hands of Fran, who takes the knock onto Tectonic. They have to be perfect. They're trying to sit inside, and they're managing to stay alive, but for how long? Only 10 seconds are needed now for OUG.
They'll spawn close. If you are the Newgen Ninjas, so OUG will have to hit them once again. Sparrow goes to great work. Jez will return fire with 2 of his own, but Tectonic's War Machine does enough to finish the job. OUG march on 3-1 victors on the day. Their hard points look phenomenal, quite frankly. Every single player across that team feels like they've had their moments to shine. King's, of course, going to be one of the players we talk a hell of a lot about, but Tectonic in that last map, so damn good. It's relatively comfortable in the end. It's a shame for Newgen Ninjas, obviously the circumstances that they came in with, the way in which they will bow out of this tournament. They can hold their heads extremely proud for what they did, overcome so many obstacles to get themselves that top 8 position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was really well played. A good valiant effort on the side of Newgen. You see a Tech there just showing respect to the players that they just beaten. And I gotta be honest, it was tough. It was difficult for the side of Newgen, but they tried their hardest, right? Both of these teams, this is not at all the stage 5 that we were expecting. But they, like I mentioned, they tried to do as best as they could. Look at Tech not only getting the kills, he was there with a tied up time of 2 minutes and 34 seconds. If I'm not mistaken, the other player that we were talking about earlier also had 2 minutes and 34 seconds. It seems like, you know, a fun number to end up with.
I mean, Tectonic, that is certainly MVP right there. That stat line is different. It's a great effort from Jez, 44 and 30. He clearly wanted to have more of a say in this Poland World Championships, but it's a case of it's a step too far sometimes. Again, there's no system there really.